That's a high price to pay for people to get rid of racism. What's up, everybody? This is another episode of the Keisha King Show. Thank you so much for watching. When my youngest daughter, for those who know me and have heard a little bit about my story, so my youngest daughter, she is a special needs child, and she was late talking. So when she was about 3 or 4 years old, I knew she could understand what we were telling her to do. And I knew she could, there were things that she could do, but she was nonverbal. And, as a mother, you want to accommodate your children. You want to be there for them. You want to give them the best things possible. You want to, when you see that they're struggling with something, your goal is to help them out. So one day, I gave her like a 3-sentence command, like do this, then do that, go do that. And she did it. It let me know that she was far more advanced than I realized. At that moment, I was like, oh, okay. So I started giving her more complicated things to do. I started not doing as much for her. I started to encourage her to be more independent. And would you know, the more I let her be independent, guess what? The more independent she became. And her confidence grew. And I could see that she was, at first it was a little struggle. She didn't want to do those things, but I knew, okay, she's not as far behind as I thought she was, and pushing her and letting her figure things out on her own a little bit more was really helping her. And so that's why we're talking about what we're talking about today. Democrats keep Black Americans broke. Democrats keep Americans as a whole broke. But as we can see, Black Americans are the biggest group of people that vote for Democrat. So that's their base. Those are the people that are supporting them. And simultaneously, it's not a coincidence that Black Americans tend to be the people that most complain about money, that most complain about, a lot of different things, to be quite honest. They're not making the connection. We're not making the connection that laws, how we vote, directly affects how we live. We like to think, oh, we vote in Democrats and they're going to cure racism. Well, let me tell you today, there is no law that can cure the heart of man. Okay? There is no law that is going to get rid of racism out of somebody's heart. There is no law that's going to make somebody who's a white supremacist not be a white supremacist. Ain't no laws for that. It's a heart matter. They have to be changed from the inside. A government entity cannot do that. So if you're voting thinking that's what they're going to do, they can't do that. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way, because you ask, some Black people, why do they vote? It's like, oh, because they're for Black people, they're against all the white supremacy. Okay, well, yeah, and they're stealing your independence. They're stealing your birthright. They are stealing your money. They are economically binding you with the promise of getting rid of racism, which cannot be done. So if you read the Bible or any psychology book, well, the psychology books today are trash, but if you read a psychology book from the past, or from some psychologists that actually have some sense, they will tell you, both in the Bible and psychology books, because this is something that's based on principle. Yeah, no, I love me some principles. If a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. Now, that doesn't simply mean that if you don't till the ground that you won't eat. It does mean that, but it means more than that. It's just like with my daughter, when I wasn't letting her work, when I wasn't letting her struggle through things, when I wasn't letting her fail sometimes to get back up and claim her independence, I was holding her back. I was holding her back from her reaching her full potential. That is just like the same thing that's going on. You have Democrats who make these laws that say, we're going to give you more stuff. We're going to give you the things that you should be doing for yourself, with the promise to you that it's going to make your life better. But that is why Black people today continue to struggle, because you are coming into agreement. You are dependent. You are giving up your dependence. You are letting them be that parent that won't let you grow up, basically. They won't let you do anything on your own, the things that you need to do on your own to be better in life. They're robbing you of that. They are robbing you of your independence. You need independence. You need independence to take care of a family. You need independence to realize your full potential. Go look at any motivational speaker. They will tell you you have to fail in order to succeed, because it's not really failing. You're learning what not to do. These are vital human necessities. You have to be independent in order to reach your full potential. And so this seems like it does it like these things wouldn't go together. Politics and human nature and psychology and all this stuff, but they do, because the more you give your independence to an outside entity, especially an outside entity like a government, the less you will be able to succeed and to accomplish the purpose that God has for your life. You are giving it over to them. You are giving them your freedom. You're giving them your money through more taxes, through burdens of regulation, through all of these things. They're promising you to get rid of something that they cannot really get rid of. And you were thinking that you're going to get something that you cannot actually get from a government. So we can see the Democrats have literally made it their will for Black Americans to constantly rely on them so they can have their vote, and so Black Americans can pretend like they're getting something that they're not really getting, but not understanding that they're in this cycle. And the things that they're looking around and they can tell that something is wrong, but you don't understand the people that you're putting into office are causing you to have more hardship in your life, and putting more burden on you to not be able to reach your goals, to not be able to reach your God-given potential. This is all a win-win for one side. That's for the political side. They get your vote. They get to stay in office. They get a fat salary by staying in office, your tax dollars. They're not held responsible for the lack of progress that they're making. They're not held responsible for anything. They can fail you, and you're going to keep putting them in office. It's a win-win for them, and they get to keep your tax dollars. And they're programming you so your children will do the same thing too. So they are solidifying their hold over your family legacy. Every time you put these people in office, they are solidifying their stronghold over your legacy. That's a high price to pay for people to get rid of racism. So it's over. Stop letting Democrats keep you broke, busted, and disgusted, because that is exactly what they are doing. If it does not make sense in principle, if they're promising you something that does not make sense in a principle, don't believe it. Don't do it. Because if it doesn't make sense in principle, it will not make sense in the real world. Just how it works, because principles work in every circumstance. That's why it's a principle. Make sure the things that you are voting for can make sense in principle, not just feelings and making you feel good. If I say that, if I can point to a person and say, I'm going to make them not be racist, I'm going to stop them from being a racist and not liking Black people. How can I do that? I can't control anybody else's mind and heart. Well, if I can't do it, and let's say it's a neighbor, if I can't do it and I have that close proximity to them, what makes you think that a government can do it? Do you see what I'm saying? Don't fall for the okie doke. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the share button, and go ahead and subscribe. You know, most people who watch my videos are not subscribed. What's tea? Hit the subscribe button. I know you like it. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.